In the last year, I have been able to lose over 25 pounds in a sustainable way, and it all started with one habit: walking 10,000 steps per day. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you how this simple habit not only transformed my body, but it also transformed my relationship with fitness. I'll also be talking about why walking is so effective for weight loss and giving you tips to actually hitting 10,000 steps a day, especially if you work a sedentary job. So that if you're ready to build a healthier lifestyle without all of the extremes, this video is for you. And if you like these kinds of videos, definitely make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the little notification bell, and without further ado, let's get into it. So in May of 2024, I found myself feeling so unhappy in my body. I felt very uncomfortable. I felt very insecure. I had put on some weight, and it wasn't even necessarily just about the weight. It was also the lifestyle that I was living. I was working an office job, and I just lived a very sedentary lifestyle. I mean, I do have a husky, so it's not like it's completely sedentary. I do still have to walk her twice a day, but besides those like 2 10-minute walks a day, I wasn't getting very much movement throughout the day. I knew that something needed to change in my lifestyle, but I have always kind of struggled with my weight and my relationship with fitness pretty much my entire adult life. It's something that I've always started and stopped, something that I could never be consistent with. And I talked about this in my last YouTube video where I shared the mindset shifts that really allowed me to stay consistent with my fitness journey. So if that's something you're interested in, you can watch that video up here. But I had basically reached a point where I knew something needed to change, but I knew that everything that I had tried before never worked for me. I was always trying extreme diets, extreme workouts, and it always burned me out. I needed something sustainable. I needed something that I could balance, something that I could do in any stage of my life, no matter what I was going through. So that's what I was looking for. And then I discovered my coach's podcast. So it's called Life Rewired. She does a podcast with her husband. They're both personal trainers and fitness coaches, and they talk all about nutrition and living healthier lifestyle. And something they talk about a lot is getting your steps in. And I feel like steps and walking has really like taken over the internet the past couple of years. Like everybody and their mother is talking about walking 10,000 steps a day. So it was definitely something that intrigued me, but it felt just like too overly simplified. Like I couldn't even imagine getting the body that I wanted or getting the healthy lifestyle that I wanted just by simply walking. Especially because my mindset has always been, you need to do extreme workouts, you need to burn as many calories as you can in one workout, and that's how you're going to see the result. But the more I heard them talking about it on their podcast, I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it out. Like, I trust them. I really like the advice they're sharing. I'm going to give it a shot. So I decided to invest in an Oura ring. And I started tracking my steps, and I definitely did not set the goal of hitting 10,000 steps a day right away. I really just wanted to see what was my baseline without even trying, like what on average am I hitting per day in steps. And it was around like 5,000 to 6,000 because again, I have a husky, so I do have to walk her twice a day. So at least I was getting a good amount of steps just from that, but I wanted to increase it. I slowly increased my steps, just 1,000 steps at a time, which 1,000 steps is only a 10-minute walk. So I would walk just for 10 more minutes in the morning, 10 more minutes at night, every single day, just slowly increasing until I started consistently hitting 10,000 steps a day. And here are just a couple of things that I noticed when I started consistently hitting 10,000 steps a day. The first thing I noticed, which I was very surprised about, was how much it reduced pain in my body. So at the time, because I was a little bit overweight and I just was more sedentary and just unhealthy, I had a lot of pain in my body, specifically my foot. There were some things going on with it. I had like plantar fasciitis, and it just was so painful. And I thought that walking would just make it worse because you're constantly putting your weight on your foot. And then because I had foot pain, I was walking weird, and then my back started hurting. So just overall, I was feeling a lot of pain in my body with my foot and with my back. And I figured out too that it was mainly like the shoes that I was wearing. They weren't very supportive for my feet. So I did invest in better shoes, and I've been using New Balance ever since. I feel like they're the best shoes, especially for walking, in my opinion. So that was something I was definitely surprised about, because almost immediately, like after just a couple of weeks of hitting 10,000 steps consistently, my back pain was gone, my foot pain was gone, and that was something that I was dealing with for like over a year. Also, walking 10,000 steps a day reduced soreness in my body. So I started going to the gym again, and I started being consistent with lifting heavy and weightlifting and all of that and strength training. And I noticed that anytime I hit 10,000 steps, it reduced the soreness that I felt in my body after a workout. So now that's something that I do every single time I go to the gym. I'll do my weightlifting, and then after that I follow up with walking on the treadmill for like 20 to 30 minutes. And trust me, it really, really helps, especially if you get a lot of soreness in your body after lifting weights, or even the next day. If you walk a lot the next day, even while your body's feeling sore, it really, really helps. Another thing I noticed is that it really improved my digestion. So around this time, I started consuming content by Glucose Goddess, and she talks all about blood sugar stability and blood sugar regulation. And something that she recommends is just going on a 10-minute walk after you eat a meal. It allows your body to digest your meal better. So I started getting in the habit of doing that, where after breakfast, I would take my walk. After lunch, I would take a walk. After dinner, I would take a walk. And anytime, honestly, my stomach hurts, I just go on a walk and immediately I feel better. And then I would say the biggest transformation that I noticed with walking is that it healed my relationship with movement. So like I said, since I always thought you had to do extreme workouts in order to lose weight, it was difficult for me to wrap my head around how simple it was to just go on a walk. Like, that's all you need to do is just go on a couple walks throughout the day and you can actually see progress in your body. So when I started to see progress, I mean, I was going to the gym and I was watching my eating behaviors as well, but still, like, I wasn't doing any sort of like extreme cardio. And I still to this day don't really do any sort of extreme cardio, and I'm able to still see weight loss progress just through walking. And that really allowed me to heal my relationship with movement, because it was no longer this thing that I had to like punish my body with. It was instead something that I actually enjoyed, because walking is fun. It's easy. It's a stress reliever. You can literally do it with your friend. You can listen to a podcast. You can listen to music. You can go on a walking trail. Like, there's so many things that you can combine walking with to make it more enjoyable. And I think it just allows you to fall in love with movement again. It also improved my mental health a lot. And I notice it even now, like, if I have a day or two where my steps are just not there, even this past week, honestly, I had like 2 off days mentally, and I only hit like 4,000 steps that day, and it just made it worse. It made it worse. So the next day I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Even though mentally I'm not okay, I am going to force myself to hit my steps. And guess what? I felt amazing by the end of the day. Literally just by moving, just moves the energy in your body. Especially if you are naturally more of like a lazier person, which I will definitely say I am. Like, I can definitely be just a little bit more sedentary naturally. Like, it doesn't take a lot for me to just lay in bed and scroll on TikTok and watch Netflix. Like, that's just whatever. That's just who I am. But walking gets me moving. It gets me going. It keeps me feeling active. And it also just helped me live a more active lifestyle in general. Because if you have a goal to hit 10,000 steps a day or more than 10,000 steps a day, you're going to do little things throughout the day to actually hit that goal. So now I park further, or I take the stairs instead of the elevator. If I have to drive somewhere and there's an option to walk instead, like, I'm going to choose that because I'm like, I'm going to get my steps in that way. So now let's talk about why walking is so transformative. So one of the biggest reasons why walking is so effective, especially for weight loss, is because of something called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So this is basically all of the calories that you burn outside of your exercise. So outside of the gym, outside of your daily intentional movement for the day. So it's all the steps you take throughout the day, you know, while you're putting away laundry, while you're cleaning your house, while you're walking your dog, while you're washing the dishes. All of those little steps that you take throughout the day add up and they burn calories. And your NEAT can actually make up for a lot of your total daily energy expenditure. So if you're somebody who works out and you go to the gym for like 45 minutes to an hour, but then throughout the day you're a lot more sedentary, your NEAT is likely a lot lower. And that makes it even harder for you to see progress, even though you're consistently going to the gym. And that's something I definitely noticed for myself, is that I would go to the gym and I'd be like, okay, I got my 45 minutes to an hour workout done for the day. I feel great. But then I would go home and just like sit on the couch the rest of the day. And even though I was consistent in the gym, I wasn't seeing that progress. And it's because my daily NEAT was low. And something that I love that my coach talks about is if you're trying to lose weight, it's really all about calories in versus calories out. So making sure that the calories that you're consuming is lower than the calories that you're burning and that you're essentially in a caloric deficit. But something she talks about that I really love this mindset because she says like, instead of going so low into your calorie deficit, just increase your NEAT, your total daily energy expenditure. And when I was on my weight loss journey and then I started working with her, I really liked that mindset because I don't want to drop my calories so low to the point where I feel like I'm on an extreme diet. I would rather just take an extra 20-minute walk that day to hit 2,000 more steps instead of dropping my calories so low. So I feel like that's a simpler way to stick to a calorie deficit is by increasing your total daily energy expenditure, your NEAT, rather than dropping your calories so low, because then it becomes unsustainable. Another reason why walking is so effective for weight loss is because it is low impact. So unlike high intensity cardio, walking doesn't spike your cortisol. And this was really big for me because in the past, I used to do really intense workouts. And I thought that because I was burning so many calories in one workout, I would be making more progress towards my goals. But instead, it left me feeling more drained and more inflamed as well. And then I wasn't seeing the progress because my body felt just like puffier and more inflamed. And it also would leave me feeling a lot hungrier. Whereas walking actually supports your nervous system. It keeps your body in a regulated state, which can actually lead to more fat loss over time, especially for women, and especially if you're a little bit more sensitive to stress. And because it's not aggressively depleting your energy or sending you way too deep into a calorie deficit, it's actually something that you can sustain over a long period of time. I feel like I can hit over 10,000 steps a day and not feel completely drained. Like it's not something that drains me of my energy and makes me feel starving all the time. Like for me personally, if I go way too hard in the gym, if I go way too hard on cardio, I do find myself feeling depleted of my energy and then I'm hungrier a lot more often. But with walking, I don't feel that way because it's a lower impact form of movement. And that's how I've been able to sustain my fitness for over a year now because it's not depleting me. It's actually giving me more energy. Okay, now let's talk about how to actually hit 10,000 steps a day, especially if you work a sedentary job and you're in the office all day from 9 to 5. You're probably like, how is it even possible for me to hit that many steps in a day when I'm just sitting all day? And trust me, that was definitely something I had to adjust to over the past couple of months because I started a full-time job. So I go into the office 3 days a week. So I'm sitting at my desk from 9 a.m. to 5:30 and I pretty much only get up to eat my lunch and to go to the bathroom. And that's pretty much it. So that's 8 hours of being sedentary. So the first thing I would recommend is to get some sort of step tracker that you actually see yourself using consistently. Before I got the Oura Ring, I did actually think about getting maybe like an Apple Watch or like a knockoff like step counter kind of thing from Amazon that was really cheap just to like get started on like my walking journey. But I knew that realistically, like knowing myself, I don't like wearing things on my wrist. I don't like wearing watches. And I knew that it was something that was uncomfortable or something that I wasn't going to want to wear consistently. I wouldn't actually be consistent with walking. So that's why I did invest in the Oura Ring. It is definitely an investment. I will say I got the silver one because it's the cheapest one. So it was $200, which I know definitely sounds like a lot for a ring, but if it's something that can completely transform your relationship with movement and with your health, it is so worth it. Like I bought this May of 2024 and it has completely changed my life. Like I'm not even exaggerating, and it has been worth every single penny. And then once you buy some sort of tracker, just kind of start to get like a baseline idea of what your steps are. And from there, I would slowly start to add a little bit more. So if you're starting off at like 3,000 steps a day, 4,000 steps a day, just shoot for 5,000 steps. 6,000 steps. And like I said, 1,000 steps is just a 10-minute walk. So that just makes it feel a lot easier in your mind when you think of it like that. Like, okay, I'm just going to walk for 10 minutes in the morning. I actually recently increased my step goal from 11,000 to 12,000. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been feeling a little bit like overwhelmed at that number, but then I was thinking about it and I'm like, okay, I hit 11,000 steps consistently in June pretty much every single day except for a couple of days. And if I want to slowly increase that to 12,000 steps, that's only a 10-minute walk. So last night I was at 11,000 steps at the end of the night and I'm like, you know what? I told myself I was going to hit 12,000 steps a day. Let me just walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes. And that's exactly what I did. Like, it literally is just a 10-minute walk. And then you can slowly start to work your way up until you actually hit whatever goal it is that you want to hit. Another tip is to buy a walking pad or a treadmill if you can. I know that you can get a walking pad on Amazon for definitely less than $100. So I definitely think it's worth it, especially if you work from home and you get one of those like standing desks and you put your walking pad underneath your desk. So that way you're able to work. I actually have a treadmill in my garage and I love it. It literally is the only reason I have been able to be consistent with my steps, because I think if you don't have a walking pad or a treadmill, or if you don't have access to a gym that you can go to every day to hit your steps, because that's also an option as well, I think it can be very challenging to hit your steps because you may be working against Mother Nature, you know? Like, there's definitely times where I wake up like ready to get my steps in and it's raining, or it's freezing outside, or I live in Florida, so it's really hot out here, and I'm in the middle of summer right now. Like, it is miserable walking outside in Florida in the middle of summer. Especially because I have a husky too. Like, I can put up with it, but I'm not going to put her through that. So actually what I've been doing is I've been waking up earlier before the sun comes up, and that's when I take her on a walk, and then I walk her after the sun goes down too. So I'm definitely working around the heat because I'm a responsible dog owner. But that's why I recommend having a walking pad or having a treadmill, because then it doesn't matter what the weather is like, you're still able to get your steps in. And also what's great too about having a walking pad or a treadmill is that it's really easy to habit stack. So I actually just bought this like attachment for my treadmill. It's going to come in on Monday, which I'm really excited about, where you put it on top of the treadmill and then you can have your laptop on top of it. So that way in the morning, when I do my morning walk, I'm able to work on my YouTube. And something else I do too is I'll set up my iPad on my treadmill and I'll watch a show while I'm walking. Or if you want to habit stack your walks outside, you can listen to podcasts, you can call your best friend. I always listen to my best friend's voice memos whenever I'm walking, and it will take me through my entire walk. Another tip to hitting 10,000 steps a day is to start your day with a long walk. I think it is so much better to front load your steps to the beginning of the day, especially if you work a 9 to 5. This was something I was really struggling with when I first started going into the office 3 days a week, is I would wait until the end of the day to get my walk in, and I never did. Very rarely would I actually come home and get my full walk in. And then after a month, 2 months, like I was not hitting 10,000 steps consistently, and I saw a difference in my body. Like I started to actually put weight back on again. So in June, that's when I decided to really get back into walking consistently. I set the goal to hit anywhere from 11,000 to 15,000 steps a day. And that's what I've been doing. Now we bumped it up to 12,000 steps a day. And now I'm feeling great again about my body. Like I actually am starting to see that progress again. So something else I noticed is that when you start your day with a long walk, it is so much easier to be active throughout the day because you've already kind of like gotten that momentum. So I noticed that whenever I start my day with a long walk and then I go into the office that day, I'm a lot more inclined to take the stairs, to park further, to just walk around throughout the day, or to take a walk on my break, just because my body like craves movement. Whereas on the days where I don't do a long walk in the morning and I go into the office, like I don't want to leave my desk. Like I just want to stay glued to my desk. I want to take the elevator. I want to park right in front of the door. Like, it's like my body doesn't want to move. It's such an interesting thing. Like when you start being consistent with moving your body, like your body craves that movement. And that's something that I never really understood when people would say things like, oh, my body's like itching, like I'm itching to go to the gym, I'm itching to go on a walk. And I'm like, can't relate. Like I feel like I have to use so much willpower and discipline to get myself to go to the gym because it just wasn't something that I was used to. Whereas now it's like I move my body so much that like my body wants to continue moving. An object in motion stays in motion. A couple more tips to actually hit your 10,000 steps a day is to park further away, take the stairs, make walking enjoyable, make it more fun. If you can, bring a friend along with you, explore some walking trails, explore cities. Also go out, go dancing, go bar hopping. That's a great way to get some steps in. You can also break up your walk throughout the day. So instead of doing like 1 hour long walk in the morning, you could do like 5 20-minute walks throughout the day. Personally, for me, I just like to get it out of the way. So I'll do an hour in the morning and it is the best feeling in the world. This is going back to walking in the morning, but it is the best feeling in the world when I get to work at 9 a.m. and I open up my Oura ring and it literally says that I have like 8,000 steps for the day, because then I'm like, easy, so easy. It's 9 a.m. and I'm at 8,000 steps for the day. That means I just need 3,000 to 4,000 more to hit my goal. Easy. Easy. Whereas there's nothing worse than like coming home after work. It's like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I look at my Oura ring and it says that I have 3,000 steps. And I'm like, oh, like it feels like I have so far to go to hit my step goal. So just front load your steps at the beginning of the day. It really will simplify your life. Walking completely transformed my health and my relationship to fitness, but I also had to make other mindset shifts to make fitness a core part of my life. And I talk all about it in this video here. And that's going to be it for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.